Good morning, Georgina. Here is your machine, the Breville Barista Express BES 870 in brushed stainless steel. As you saw in the photos, it's in very good condition. This is actually one of my cleanest used machines. It's very light wear and tear, I would say. It's got, light scratches around the front. Basically, that's it. Yeah, no, I couldn't see any dents really, or any like big gouges or scratches, and that's on the outside. On the inside, perfect condition, no issues at all. I've just finished doing the service last night, so doing back flush cycle, descale cycle, steam and water pressure, leak testing, grinder calibration. Everything is perfect. Pressure testing, everything was perfect, and yeah, it looks like brand new on the inside, honestly. In this video, I'll be testing all the features, making my latte, and yeah, just when you first turn it on, it would take about a minute for the boiler to reach temperature. You'll see the buttons light up. I like to warm up the machine even further than that after it's ready to go by running a blank shot. So get your cup, make sure you put on your handle. It's empty now. Put it on just a little bit and press the double. This will warm up things with the hot water. So your handle, your cup, your grip head, all of them will be nice and warm after this. You can do that once or twice, it's up to you. And also, as you saw, the water was a bit discolored. So this cycle actually acts like a flush or a clean. So if there's any dirt or coffee grounds in the group head or portafilter, this will flush them. If you do this again, it'll be crystal clear. There we go. Amazing. Just getting my milk ready. Once this is done, put the cup away. I'll put it on top. Next, grab your portafilter and dry it. This basket here is a double basket. This will take 18 grams of ground coffee. Your machine comes with 4 baskets, so all 4 baskets, it'll be 2 doubles and 2 singles. There's another double called the dual wall basket. It is right here. This one is harder to use than the double wall. Double wall will be easier to use, but the disadvantage is that it won't taste as good, and also it'll be harder to clean when you're done. So when you knock off the coffee, it's harder to clean it off. So I'll be using the standard one. I'm going to use a scale to measure the inputs and outputs. And that's to hopefully get a good recipe for coffee. Usually it's 2 to 1. So I'll fill up the bean hopper with some coffee. This is my first time making coffee on this very unit, so I'm not sure what the correct grind size will be, but just by feeling the blades on the grinder, I think the correct grind size will be number 4, maybe number 3 or number 2. I'll start on number 3 and see what happens. Yeah, maybe number 3 or number 2. Let's start on number 3, and if it's too quick, I'll just let you know what to do next. Yeah, so my scale says 0, that's good. I'll put the amount on 12 o'clock, and then the filter size on single. You can put it on double and grind twice. I personally like to put it on single and do it, sorry, I put it on single and do it twice rather than doing it on double. Because with the double setting, you'll get a bit too much coffee and it may spill and you get some wasted coffee. That's not good. So put it on single and that looks good. That was 8 grams, so I'll increase it a little bit to 2 o'clock position. Let's go 1 o'clock position. Hopefully we want to get 9 grams per dose. So this is the first dose. We only got 8 grams, so what I'll do, I'll top it up. That's 9 grams. After the first dose, give it a light press, very light, to make way for the second dose. So on 1 o'clock position, I got 8.3 grams. So maybe on the 2 o'clock position, we'll be getting closer to 9 grams. So keep it on the 2 o'clock position. This is 17.2. $17.8, perfect. So once you have the correct amount of coffee, which, like I said, 17 to 18 grams is good. Even if you're half a gram or a gram less, it's okay. It's better to go a bit under than a bit over, because when you're over, it'll start touching the shower screen as you lock in the handle, and it'll press the coffee. Not very good for the coffee machine or for your coffee. Before I press it with the tamper fully, I'm just going to spread it with my finger, which I've already done. And after that, you can press it. Apply nice and firm pressure. Make sure it's even all around. And make sure it's flat. And this is what it looks like when you're done. Nice and smooth surface. And a quick tip I'll give you is, if you don't have a scale to measure, or if you're in a hurry and you don't want to do that, just look at the depth of the tamper. The silver part should disappear. Just like that. This is like the depth that it should be when you have the correct amount of coffee. And we have about 18 grams. And indeed, that's what we see. If it's too high all the way here, and you can't press it any further, it's too much coffee. If it's too deep, if it's like all the way here, then it's too little coffee. You need to put more. Clean the edges. Lock it in. Just gonna add some milk. Alrighty. Get rid of this water. If you like to add syrups or sugar, you can do it at this stage. Okay. Make sure your scale is now reset again using your cup. So that's what I'm doing. Right, coffee time. So we adjusted the grind size, we adjusted the grind amount to 2 o'clock. Now the last thing to adjust, well, at least the last thing I will adjust for you, so you have the machine ready to go. That's the last thing is the grind sorry, the brew amount. So we said a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every gram of coffee, we want 2 grams of espresso. We put in 1 gram of ground coffee. Sorry, 18 grams of ground coffee. We want 36 grams in the cup. And it doesn't have to be exact. I like to give a range of plus minus 5. So anything between like 32 to 40 is okay. 30 to 41. That should be fine. Especially if you're adding milk or flavors, you don't have to be exactly on the number. That 40 gram shot, ideally it should happen in 30 seconds. So if I make coffee now and the shot takes 10 seconds to come out and finish the 40 grams, only 10 seconds, that's way too quick. We need to grind finer to slow it down. If my coffee comes out too slow, for example, my 40 grams takes a minute to come out, then that's too long, and that just tells me that my grind size is too fine. I need to grind coarser. From my predictions, I think it'll be a little bit too quick. Reasons why your coffee may run too quick: A, you didn't put enough coffee in the handle. B, you didn't grind fine enough. And C, the most common is actually your beans are too old. So my beans have been in this vacuum container for about a month, so it should be okay, but you never know. We will start now. So to program a button, you can program them to any length you'd like. My scale turned off, that's fine. You can program them to any length you'd like. I will do that now for the double shot to give you the correct amount, which is, like I said, about 40 grams. Program, then the button. I'm also going to use my timer to count how many seconds. Pressure gauge should be in the gray zone. Pressure is now at 12 o'clock, which is actually pretty good. This is running at an appropriate speed, I would say. Now it's at 20 seconds. I'll turn it off. That's 22 seconds. We got 42 grams in 22 seconds. So let me just quickly show you what 40 grams or 42 grams looks like. About this much in this cup. Still a good amount of coffee, I would say. On the higher end, that's fine. So it was running a bit too quick. So I said about 36 grams in 30 seconds. Or 40 grams in 30 seconds. We got 42 grams in 22 seconds. So that means if I let it go for the 30 seconds, we would have gotten maybe 50 or 60 grams of coffee. So it's too quick for sure. What I would do next, I would grind size number 3. And grind size number 2. And try again. But also, you should know that different beans will have different settings. You may take the machine home and try your beans. If they're really good beans and fresh, you may actually be happy at grind size number 3. I'm using Cole's medium beans. Not the best beans in the world, but they are okay. One other thing I might do is I might calibrate the internal mechanism. So actually you can ignore the grind size now. I'll do the calibration, put it on a set number, and you can use it as is. So you don't have to stress too much about the grind size. But yeah, this was a good coffee. Drinkable, I would say. Let's have a look. Not too bad, not too bad. Next, steaming the milk. Turn on the steamer. Should take about 15 seconds for the steam to start coming out. When you hear the pump pulsating, that's when it's officially started to steam. Before that, you can just wait and see what happens. I've got my milk jug filled about halfway with milk. My one has a thermometer, your one doesn't. You don't really need a thermometer because you can feel. So once you reach the full steam temperature, turn it off, position, turn it back on. So keep the wand at an angle. Keep the milk spinning like a vortex. And keep the tip close to the surface of the milk for the first 10 seconds or so. After that 10 seconds, raise the jug. You don't want to inject too much air. So if you stay next to the surface, if you keep the tip close to the surface of the milk for too long, you'll get too many bubbles, too much froth. So don't do that. After 10 seconds, raise the jug, and now it's just spinning without any air injection. And when it's too hot to the touch, turn it off. It's too hot to the touch. After you steam, very important, take it out and give it a purge. So this purge will clean the insides. Great. And once, after 5 seconds of turning it off, you will reset back to espresso mode. It'll cool down the boiler as you just saw. It will pump water, and you'll see the buttons light up again, so it's ready to make another coffee. Grab a wet towel and wipe the wand from all angles. Especially the bottom part and the back part, people usually forget. And yeah, that's the milk wand clean. Super quickly before I pour the milk, grab the portafilter, knock it off. Don't forget it in there. It'll not be good. It will be hard to remove next day. Give it a flush. Just a single button is fine. It's good. And if you have a tissue or a brush, just give it a good clean. There's almost always a little bit left, even after you flush. And yeah, after that it's ready to go. You can make another coffee, you can lock it in and use the machine the next day. That's all good, it's up to you. You can put, actually I recommend you put it here so that the group head can dry. And yeah, that's what I would do. Milk. Let's pour the milk into the coffee. We actually got a good surface, a good texture. So if you have any big bubbles, just knock it off and then swirl it around to mix it up. No latte art for me today, but at least the coffee looks good. If you have some barista training or latte art interests, you can certainly do latte art with this machine. Yeah, that's what I got. Looks really good. I'm looking forward to having it. And I'm sure you can do even better coffees on this machine. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. See you soon, Georgina.